Hudson and Scotty B Need a therapist. Hey guys, I'm Hudson Hott, Scotty Blaisdell, my partner, and Alan Wagner, our resident therapist. I just put down, I think, my most favorite book I've ever read. And I think there's a lot of talk on the internet about it. I keep seeing people posting about it. Mel Robbins, Let Them. Have you guys heard of it?
I have not. How about you, Alan?
I've just been hearing about it from clients, and I saw that she was a guest on Bill Maher, but honestly, I don't know that much about it.
I would really love to get into this book because I really loved it and I took away a lot of great things from this book. And the core concept of Let Them is you cannot control people's behavior, their reactions, their choices, or their opinions. And the bottom line is you don't need to. Does that make sense? Alan, you're the therapist.
I mean, I guess if we go and we just cut out the world, it makes sense a little bit. I guess then it wouldn't affect us. But how do we do that with people who are in our lives that we can't do that with or affect us directly at
And I
work?
think this is a perfect time to do it because we're heading into these holiday get-togethers, and there's certain people that probably rub you the wrong way.
Right. Even for example, and I don't know if you do this at your house, but over the holidays, there are certain towels that you place in the guest bathroom for the holidays. And if someone makes a comment like, oh God, that's gaudy, like we're always seeking, I feel like, the approval of others.
You're saying like using your hand towel example, if someone was to make that comment, you'd just be like, huh, and just move on, as opposed to contradicting them and saying, no, it's not gaudy and defending your position. You would just let them think it's gaudy and you don't have to think it's gaudy and you just move on. There's no reason to even have a discussion with them about it.
You should let them judge you, let them react however they react, and let them be who they are, even if it disappoints you. We've all done that. I know for myself, I always seek the approval of others. And I spent so much time when I read this book, it really hit me because I spent so many countless hours wondering why if somebody was in a bad mood and I took it personal when it probably had nothing to do with me. Do you know what I'm
Well,
saying?
it sounds to me, and this is probably one of those things where it's not a new idea. We've even discussed this on the podcast in various forms, but it's another way to look at it that may be connected with you personally, Hudson. But it seems like being less self-absorbed, less defensive, instead of trying to get inside someone's brain and judging what they're doing or why they're saying it, just let it roll off of you.
Is it about peace or is it about power? And I guess what I'm trying to understand about this concept, because like just what Scotty's saying, there's a lot of these theories that have existed over decades now of ways that we can be more self-focused and not worry about other people and not let the people steal your energy and not be toxic, and those are all things that we've heard for years. But let's say, for example, that you do sort of, because like a client brought up something to me, and I was going to ask you about this, Hudson. I didn't want to ruin the podcast, so that's why I didn't talk to you beforehand. But they kept saying to me that before in their day, they keep saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it sounds to me like that's that what the way that she described it to me without, being specific was it was sort of like I'm feeling like I'm bored or lost or whatever it is I'm stuck in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, step one, action plan. And so
Right.
if you clear your brain of that energy, are you supposed to be using it now for your own power?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1 was to get up and get motivated because when you are stuck in that deep, dark space where you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to do anything, that's it. Here it is. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom, I'm up and I'm going to do it. Not putting it off till tomorrow, doing it right now, whether it was looking for a job, whether it was getting up and vacuuming the house, whatever that was, her 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 was how it started for her, that started her into being a motivational speaker and a coach and an author and everything else that followed into that. And I mean, she's got the bestseller, number one bestseller. I don't even know. I think it was like 143 million copies have sold and number one podcast on Apple.
Okay, so it's a way to just shake yourself out of being still. Just take that first step,
Yeah,
journey of a whatever begins with one step, that sort of thing. But it's her way of just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is that. So we all
correct.
need we all need that starting point. If you're going to go to the gym, you need to stand up.
Yep.
I
You
agree.
need to get.
Yeah, we all
Right.
have powerful choices as people. Like, every single day, it's like, do we turn on the TV or not? Do we look at our phone for an hour or not? I think we all have a choice. We all know what we should be doing. And so what she's saying in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is have that thing that you should be doing that you probably don't want to do and start doing it.
Yeah.
Correct. But you have to know what your needs are. Like, for example, okay, let's just say, Scotty, I wanted you to lose weight, right? Because we were taking photos. And I have this resentment that I keep asking you, Scotty, come on, man, lay off the ice cream. Like, dude, like I want you to look good. And really like focusing on that and building up this resentment that the more I tell you to do it, if you're told something over and over, you do completely the opposite. I have no control over you. You have control over yourself. I don't. And I have to accept that and worry about what I can do. And that when you decide that you want to look good in those photos for our photo shoot, for whatever it is that we're doing, you'll do that. But I can't control you, and no one can control anyone. You have control over yourself.
Well, you're
And that's a
right.
big
And
one.
you can't shame people into doing something or nag them into doing it until anything in life, until they
Right.
decide they want to do it.
But like, let's use an extreme example right now. Let's say you guys all have a big photo shoot and something that's a great opportunity for everybody, but the size of the seats, if Scotty doesn't lose that weight, he's not going to fit on the seat, and that means that all of you guys lose the photo shoot. You all lose. So saying let him be overweight in that particular situation, obviously this is Scotty's not overweight, and I'm not fat shaming anybody when I
Yes.
do that.
No,
I'm just using it
Scotty's
as an
so not. Scotty's
example.
fit.
And just so whoever's listening to this is not out to get me for this, I'm just saying, like, what if what you're choosing to do will have an impact on people you care about, and them just being like, well, let him do it. It will have consequence, whether it's to kids, partners, business relationships. What do you do in those situations? You just let somebody take you down by letting them be a certain way because it does, like with strangers, yes. But what if you're tied to them in a family or a profession where their actions will affect the outcomes or inactions? Do you just let them?
Well, no. Then you go into the next phase of that where let me encourage them in a different way, not nagging, not picking at them, putting them down. Maybe invite them if they would like. Hey, I'm going to work out today if you want to join in. Get on the treadmill with me. If you don't, okay.
If we take weight off of it, because weight's just an example, and I don't want to get caught in that. Let's just say it's a business move, and let's just say somebody is intent on spending discretionary funds of the business on things that are harmful for the business, and they're a partner, so you can't fire them. Do you just let them? How does she address that? That's what I'm trying to understand as more of in a concrete way.
I'm not Mel Robbins. I didn't write the book. And that part I don't feel was really covered in that kind of scenario. This was more personal relationships and things like that, and also more about yourself. So I don't know a direct answer to that.
Well, it's a good question because there's a lot of times we have to have hard talks with people in life. It's one of the ways that we show that we love and care or need something from someone to make something successful. So sometimes we have to have it uncomfortable. I can't just let them because, as Alan said, it's affecting our family. It's affecting safety. There's times when you can't just let people, I think. So maybe there needs to be a follow-up on this.
Alan, what would be your solution as a therapist?
I haven't read the book and I'm going to read it, and I know people say great things about her, so in no way am I making any judgment on this book. But I know for me, it's sort of like, well, if there's something in the family, let's say like we use the example of Thanksgiving, somebody's drinking too much, and they say they can drive home. And you say, no way, you can't drive home. There's no way. You're drunk and you're trying to get other people to stop them. And they just say, no, I'm going. They grab their keys and they walk out. And it's like, do you let them?
No.
So in situations, even personal or professional, I'm just trying to understand, like, I understand the basic concept, which is do not let other people affect how you feel about yourself. But I also,
Correct.
as a global philosophy, I'm trying to understand, is this a global philosophy? Because if it is, how do you deal with those other circumstances?
I bought the book because I've listened to her podcast for quite some time, and I like the things that she says. And really, after a job loss and going through so many different thoughts in my head, I was that person who let other people's attitudes and reactions really affect me when, in fact, it probably had nothing to do with me. And that was the big selling point for me. So that's what my takeaway was. It wasn't anything to do with family or weight loss or, anything or business. But it did motivate me to let go of certain things that I felt really has affected me for quite some time.
What I'm sort of hearing is that this book is something for someone, if you're experiencing emotional distress or depression, or you're down on yourself and you're letting other people impact the mirror that they see back, like you see back in yourself, what they're saying, what they're doing is a reflection on you. It's about
Correct.
alleviating that for your own self-esteem. It's not about in any way, as a general theme of life, you cannot just let
Right.
people that are of consequence and part of the world we live in just cut to the side. But what you're saying is free yourself from people in your life that are in your head if they are doing things that you will never change, whether that means that they criticize you all the time or whatever it is that they're doing, you understand you're not going to change them, so it doesn't affect you.
Right. That's exactly it. That's what this book is basically about.
And
That's the takeaway.
don't read into their motives either. I think a lot of us fill in the way we think and attach that to other people.
It's really
No,
true.
well, I think Thanksgiving is an interesting holiday because it is one that brings together so many random people, friends of the family, as well as like relatives that are sort of distant. And there's always going to be a chance, for people to be emotionally offended. I kind of like what you said, Scotty, earlier about intent, because sometimes a person makes a statement about, dry turkey and they're thinking out loud, not thinking that it's going to affect the other person who made the turkey. That's not their intention, is to call out that person in front of the room. They're just like in their own head being like, oh, this turkey's kind of dry. I should add gravy to it. And maybe that's their issue. But then there's also, I just want to share something really fast that I'll always remember. And I hope my mom's not upset about this, but like, I always remember being at this Thanksgiving at my aunt's house when I was a kid. And there was this woman who saw a picture of my mom on the shelf at my aunt's house. And she's like, "Oh, what a beautiful picture. I didn't know you wore white on your wedding day," implying that she didn't deserve to wear a white wedding dress because she was a harlot or whatever you want to call the word, the correct word is to use in the middle of Thanksgiving. That was done with intention to put my mom in her place. That was definitely malicious. And my mom took it gracefully, didn't let it affect her, let them, and moved on through it and didn't even confront the person, although everyone in the room probably looked at that person like what a jerk they were. But she handled it gracefully. But that wasn't done with intention. There's a lot of things that, like what Scotty was saying, that sometimes people are just in their own world and they may park terribly. Let them, I guess. You'll have to just get carefully out of your car if they're by the line and you don't have enough room in your door. You can't change what another person's going to do when they're parking. So I understand that sometimes there's intention and sometimes we imply like what a jerk, this person did this on purpose, and most of the time it's not the case.
Parking is a great example.
Yeah.
Driving is a
Oh
great
yeah.
example because there's
It
so many
is.
times. How many times do we have conversations with other drivers? I remember telling my wife one time, she was saying something, and I go, they can't hear you, right?
Yep.
Like she's saying the correctional thing for what they should have done. And I don't mean to, yeah, I'm calling out my wife on this on the pod, but
I love it. Yeah. No, but you see, that's what I'm saying. I think women are wired completely differently. And the way our brains think about things, and even if something weren't intentional at all, we will spend so much time in our heads.
Right.
And that's wasted time, wasted brain space when you could be doing something else. But also as an adult, let me just take this into a different area because I think also as adults, our lives are busy. We're working, we've got kids, we've got pets, we're doing things, or we've got dinner to make, we've got to do this and that and the other thing. And a lot of times people will sort of drop off. They won't make the effort to reach out to those core friend groups. And you'll just wait for the invitation. And I think that if you want to continue those friendships, you have to also reach out to those people and say, hey, you know what? I don't know what you're doing today. If you want to go, you guys want to grab a coffee. And I think a lot of times people just sit back and wait
Mhm.
rather than take the initiative. And I think that that's really important.
Bringing it circle to the 5 4 3 2 1, that's the whole point. If you're going to complain about not being involved in social things, but you never invite people to your home, you never set up events and invite people, why do you get to be the person who just waits for invitations? That doesn't sound right
Correct.
either. Like if you're going to take action, you want to be a social person, 5 4 3 2 1, look up concerts, start calling friends to see if they'll go.
Yeah, it's like an entitlement thing, right? You just think,
Yeah.
oh, well, I'm the valuable one, so they'll come to me and set things up for me and invite me. And then suddenly you get a
Correct.
slap in the face. It's like, well, they went and did something without me. Are you being the great friend to them as well?
Yeah. And I can say for myself, there's been lots of invitations and I just haven't done it. And who knows if they're going to invite me again. And now I know after reading this book, which really did help me in so many different areas of my life, that yeah, I got to reach out to them and say, "Hey, you know what? Come over. Let's do this. Let's get together if you guys want to." Because it's not just sit back and wait. And that's an important thing to take away. It's what you have to make that effort. The five,
And
four,
I
three, two, one.
and I think as well, when you are invited and you can't make things, to actually let them know that you wish you could have been there. And please don't hesitate to invite me next time. I really want to do things with you.
Whenever that happens with clients and they can't make a birthday party or something like that, I always say just take the person out for lunch next week, one on one. There's always an opportunity to show people what they mean to you, even if you can't be involved in that. But I also understand personally and professionally on this whole concept. It's a lot, to look at the people in our lives that affect us and should or shouldn't, the information that we have to take in and how we process it and personalize it. And I like that there's books out there that let us depersonalize things. Because I do agree with Scotty, and the last thing I'll say about it is I've done this with clients for years, which is if you're waiting for someone to give you more money, it's not going to happen. If you're waiting for a promotion, not going to happen. If you're waiting for someone to hire you or discover you, not going to happen. Nobody's looking for you. You have to actually engage 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's true. Alan's dad actually had a thing that he told him years and years ago. He put a glass down upside down and said, "How do you move the glass?"
No.
And the only way it's going to move is by you moving that glass. It's not going to move magically on its own.
And no one else is
And
going to pick it
so
up. Yeah.
yeah. And so that's some good advice. And I really did. I really hope that you both read the book. I know, Alan, you're going to read it. Scotty, I'll send you a copy. She made it very simple, very, very simple, easy to read that a woman can understand. And I'm not saying that this is a book just for women, but I'm saying as a woman, I really related to a lot of her content and it really did motivate me. I went to my therapist right after reading it. I read the book in one day and my therapist was like, "Whoa."
Okay, as a parent, sometimes you'll talk to your kids about something and you'll explain something very thoroughly, very thought out with great examples, and it should impact them. And you're like, why are they not getting this? And then their friend will say, hey, why don't you do this? And they're like, that's a great idea. And then as a parent, you're like, I just said the same thing to you. Why are you not getting it? Sometimes you just need to hear it come in a different way from a different person. So books like this, I definitely believe have value because it connected with you, and it sounds like a lot of folks.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of folks. Again, Mel just did that interview, which I really want to watch on Bill Maher. But I dig her. And if you haven't checked out her podcast, definitely make sure you like and subscribe to ours first, because we're turning you on to her if you don't know who she is. Hudson and Scotty B Need Therapist. Share it with a friend, post it on Facebook, because it really can help us and it doesn't cost a damn thing. That's what friends do, and that's what more friends need to do. Help one another. And I thought this book was very helpful. So I wanted to talk about it today with my two best friends. I'm Hudson Hott, Scotty Blaisdell, our therapist, Alan Wagner. Thanks, guys, for talking about it. Hudson and Scotty being a therapist. Peace in the chicken grease.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.